All right, this is going to be a bit tough. There's so much stuff to get through here. This is all mechanical devices that I found fossilized that were from the civilization that occupied the Earth before humans occupied the Earth. I mean, we can get started on there's some crazy stuff to start with. Like right here, this here, believe it or not, that is an eyeglass case like we have today, eyeglasses. It folds, got a hinge in the back right there, and you can look in there, you can see the eyeglasses in there, still in there. This is an eyeglass case. It's a folded, you know how they snap shut, they keep your eyeglasses in. And then here's another little device that top opens up, and I don't know if it's a billfold, hold money or what, but you can see that that folds up out of place. And I mean, there's so many things. There's like little devices, cars, like little tanks like they used to drive around in. Remember, size don't mean nothing. Just because we are a certain size and we expect everything else to be our size, it doesn't mean that everything was our size. Things could have been tiny or they could have been giant, you know. I think they were both. I think we're just living in a time when things were basically one size, but in this past time, there was creatures that were gigantic, and then there were creatures that were tiny, and these are basically the devices from people our size down to tiny people. Like there's like a, you know, a tractor there, and that there's another tractor there, and then there's, I mean, there's so many things. There's a camcorder here. Look at this. There's a camcorder. Look at that thing. Say it folds out, and that's a fossilized camcorder that opens up and folds out. I mean, it's crazy. Then there's a car that they used to travel around in. There's like a little car from the water. There's guns. Here's a gun here that folds up. It you can see is a serial number still on it, and it hinges. These things all hinge up, and it's like a, I don't know why, but I found a couple of these that they're all, the pistols all like hinge and fold up. So you put them in your pocket, all folded up. Kind of weird, but kind of good idea. Um, you know, and then there's, you know, like underwater devices. These are single devices that they would probably travel underwater with. To, you know, guns. There's like a fossilized gun. It's a like a muzzle floater type gun, and there's so many things. I mean, this goes on and on. There's, you know, this pocket knife. You know, you can see that was a pocket knife. Another pocket knife, like a straight edge razor. A motorcycle. It's funny looking motorcycle, but that was like a motorcycle. All fossilized. Here's like a personal watercraft. That way it would be able to scoot underwater. And the way they steer them is really weird. The back end would turn instead of the front, like ours fronts turn on a rig. This here, the back end pivots where you sit on it, and you can see it pivots, and that's what turns them. That's really weird how they decided to do that. And here's an automobile. You see the front end, the car, the hood, the headlights and stuff, and the same thing here. The front end kind of pivots. You can see how the steering is underneath it, how they steered it and stuff. Um, you know, and then there's just so many things. It's like an automobile, there's a trunk on it, and it was like a, just went through major disasters. These things did, and I mean, it just goes on and on. There's so many things. There's little boats. Like there's a boat, and there's more boats, and there's more personal watercrafts. Lots of personal watercrafts, and I mean, it's just crazy all the stuff that there is. Is like there's a submarine or a boat. It's like a submarine. I don't know if it was not. And these were not toys. These were actually, believe it or not, these were things that people worked on, lived on. I mean, it seems crazy to us because we don't know things that are that small, but it's not to them because they were this small. You know, it's just hard for us to understand and accept it because it's just not that way now. Here's a gun in a holster. You know, it's like a little handgun in a holster. And it just goes, you just see so many things. Transportation vehicles, a revolver is part of a revolver here where it's been broken, but you can see the handle, and then there's the pistol part right there. And it just goes on and on. It's like a type of a tank that they would travel on the top of the ground with there. And there's another little car there that they would move. And there's like some kind of a craft there that sit on it. And I don't know how that would go, but this is just all fossilized remnants of a past civilization that we no longer have with us today. They were here, and this is the evidence they left. They were destroyed by some catastrophe. It was an enormous, horrible catastrophe. Meteors from the sky, it looks like, and they they were having to hide from them, but it just ended up killing them all. And somehow it hardened everything into stone so fast that some of the things were even eating what they had for the last meal. The guy's part of a gun here at the end of it. I mean, things were. It just was like nothing like a food processor. It was just everything was water and wind and just it was torrential fire. It was horrible. They got pictures on my site. You can see I got pictures of that they drew on rocks and stuff of it, and it was horrible. It was literally hell on earth.